Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 4th of September 1921. And at the moment, the Russian Civil War is still rolling on. There's still peasants' rebellions, and I think we have to accept that time is running out for our small community here, and it will not be long before a local commissar arrives. And what will probably happen is that the commissar will take over the landlord's house. There's also a very real possibility, as somebody suggested in the comments, that the landlords may suddenly decide to convert to Bolshevism and become the commissar themselves. And of course that means that eventually we're going to have nationalization, also collectivization, which is going to have a very big impact on our community, and hopefully it will be in a positive way, but you never know. Now, before we get into any gameplay, as usual, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. I had a couple of interesting comments, different people. One was related to selling plastics from here, and you can see we've got a few plastics here. In fact, I need to kick off and make some covered holes. Let's let that run there. So I just want to take this opportunity to talk about how plastics and electronics are going to be introduced into this series. Now, plastics were kind of discovered in the late 1880s, 1890s, but the first commercial plastics started to come into use in about the 1920s, and I think one of the early ones was PVC. I think one of the first ones that was actually first invented was polythene, I think, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. So what I'm going to be doing is introducing plastics as a viable commodity to manufacture and export in the late 1920s. Now, electronics is a little bit more tricky because it depends on what you mean by electronics, and what I'm going to do is draw a distinction between what you would call electro components and electronics itself. And what I'm going to treat is electro components as early electronics. Oops, we need to sell some electronics actually. Just sell that off a bit. Yeah, so electro components are going to be early electronics, and what I'm going to treat electronics as, which would be valves and things like, is the introduction of radio. Now, radio came to Russia as a national network in around 1924, and I think it wasn't long after that Radio Moscow was created by Lenin as a mouthpiece of the communist regime. So that is the way we're going to introduce radio, because radio is going to be quite an important influence with building up loyalty when we move to the new update. So that deals with that comment. Now, somebody did suggest about getting rid of this water mill, and I do actually like that idea because it's never really worked that well, and I've never been too sure why, because it should produce 160 megawatts of power, but I'm going to leave it here for the moment. And what someone suggested is that the secret police have quite a wide range, so this might be a good location to put the secret police headquarters down in this corner here. So that's going to be something we're going to be looking at going forward. Up over here, somebody also posted a comment in relation to putting a feeding station up here, and that is something that I do want to do, but I'm still a little bit concerned about mixing feeding stations and gas stations, because I'm not sure how, once we get trucks, how that's going to work. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be a little bit careful at the moment about where I'm going to be putting feeding stations and gas stations as we go forward, because we're going to need a feeding station out here, I think, because we will be bringing vehicles across here, because at the moment we've got a feeding station there, and we've got a feeding station here, and I think really what we probably need is, say, a feeding station out possibly about here, so that it can actually work to my bit of a disaster of a farm here. So I think what we'll do is we're going to put a feeding station about here, if I can find it. I think if we're going to need to put power to it, so I think if we put it about there next to these distribution offices, we'll get that in there. Hopefully this will get picked up by one of my multiple road crews. Titus road crew, there we are. We'll allocate you. Actually, we'll put bulk supply on it as well. Now, my farm that I was building in the last part here hasn't gone exactly that well, because I've got these covered holes, but I think they're going off to get fuel which means that we're probably going to get a very poor harvest from here, which in some ways will reflect the times that we're living in, because in the winter of 1921-1922, famine really spread across Russia because the harvest of 1921 was really poor. So my excuse at the moment is that we're modeling a historical event here, with possibly with the loss of the crops in this area, because what we do need is to get, we haven't actually got anybody collecting the crops from here at the moment, and the maximum storage we got is 40 tons. But generally over here things are going quite well, because we've now got these combines here which are making a difference, hopefully. And we are getting crops in there, and we can see the big difference it's made over here already, because we're only in the 11th of September and we virtually cut this one. This one's still growing, so we're getting quite a lot of crops from this area. So I think we should have enough to get us through the winter. And what I'd like to do is try and get some of these outstanding jobs finished, rather than planning and pushing out more, so that we're going to be ready for the arrival of the communist regime. And one area I would like to really get sorted out is over here. You can see this one just needs mechanisms. Hopefully this is a... why are you carrying crops? Where are you going? I think he's just gone to get some fuel. This is the one here. So he's probably going to go and deliver a little bit of crops to this area here. So we got a whole 3 tons of crops here. And what I'm hoping is that if I can get this distribution office complete, I can send these guys up to here. And then possibly if we can get this silo built, although we need 12 tons of steel, so it's going to be a little bit tight. This is another 2 tons of gravel coming in here. So a bit of apology in the sense that this may be a slightly kind of slow-paced video, because of the fact that I'm just trying to catch up. I think over here I've solved that problem I had with the production of cement, although it looks like we've got a bit of a problem with gravel now. I mean, this is one of the problems which you can get. Who delivers the gravel? I think it's these guys, isn't it? I think you're delivering gravel to the cement works, calcium concrete plant. We're obviously 2 dumpers short. I don't know if I've got any dumpers floating around that I can use. But we got a few vehicles in here. We got 1 dumper. I think we can. Whoops. I think we can send you over here. Over here and working. But an open hole, I don't think I actually need any open holes. One thing I have planned since the end of the last video is I realised that I've created this here for excavators and all the other buildings. The one vehicle that I haven't made a space for is cranes. So what I'm going to do is hopefully get this bit of road built here. Titus, actually we can put New Hope, Titus Road Crew and on here as well. If we can get that built. You've got cranes about over here, about the... Oh, these guys are busy. I haven't really checked my forestry here at the moment. So things are going okay. Yeah, so what I'm planning to do is get a whole load of cranes in here as well over time. Go back and check this. Right, this guy is pumping out. Now, one question that has come up in my mind with respect to the secret police, I'm just wondering whether the secret police will be able to go out and investigate people's loyalty using horses. Because at the moment I've got no private vehicles at all, as far as I know. Let me just get this finished. I think I'd rather let this build, because that would give us some more covered wagons, which I'm going to need for the farm once the distribution office is built. So we're just going to let this run through, and then I think what we're going to do is build a crane. No, sorry, we're going to build a bulk supply wagon, then we'll knock out a couple of cranes. Dumper, I want one of these, and then we have a. Oh well, we don't actually have a crane. Okay, road crane. Well, we got the money for it, so then what we're going to do is the road crane. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 road cranes. What I'm going to do is just, oops, nope. What I want to do is send the covered holes up to. Got many space in here. Space for 3. Send 1. Three to here. What else have I got in here? We got an excavator. Because we got a spare excavator, which I'm using here. So we got this coming together. Just what I do need on here is Titus workers. I think we'll add Titus workers to this. Looks like they've got all the resources. What they don't have is the workers to actually build it, which is a bit of an oversight. Now up here we're still pushing this road out here, and what I want to do is build the road right out through here first before we start work on this. This is a bit of a background priority at the moment. Actually, we got a, oh look at that, we got an old tractor on here waiting to get going to do his leveling. I mean, over here we're still kind of cobbling this together, and I certainly would like to start getting this town put into place over time. Right, we've now got you here. I'm going to do is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Load, and then I think where's he got a sino here? I'm going to take a chance on this actually unloading, and then have I got any covered holes here? No, they're not arrived yet, so we're gonna have to wait. In fact, what we could do is push. Got 2 more covered holes here. Let me just see if I can push these to the distribution office directly. Where are they? Here. I'm just going to push them there. I think we'll leave the 2 covered holes working here at the moment. These are full, so where's the covered holes gone? What we'll do is we'll just push these here, wherever they are. I think they've probably wandered off to get fuel again. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need a feeding station out here to get everything working. Oh, look at that. Oh. Getting our pumping station going. Now, I did put in a medium distribution office here because I realized that I hadn't actually, can you say, set up a distribution office to bring the fuel from here. So we've actually got oil. Wow. And I don't know if I've got an oil truck. Let me just see. What's this here? Dry bulk. No, we don't have any oil trucks. Okay, change of plans again. What's slowing this up? And we got plastics. Yeah, stop it. Game of plastics. And we're going to cancel the horse-drawn cranes. We don't really need those at the moment. And we're just going to take that out. And what I want is some... let me just see. Don't we have a ability to make the oil trucks as well? Didn't I bother with that either? Oil tanker, oil wagon, okay. So we got the resources for it, so... Oil tanker, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Because what I'd like to do is, at the very least, to begin with, we're starting bringing the oil up to here. I think what I might do is, just to save a little bit of trouble in the... Is... Oops, no. Bring a road off to there and bring it down to there. Now, you've got storage for 90 tons. You've got storage for 15 tons. So I think that would be enough to be going on with. Okay, we got an excavator. We just need the gravel and everything to be delivered. So we've got oil. Wow. Well, that was a little bit unexpected. I mean, the source is pretty abysmal, but there's not much I can do about that. We're just going to have to work with what we've got, because we're a poor rural community that with aspirations of grandeur is probably the polite way of saying it. But what we are going to need to do is keep an eye on this silo here. Is there anyone pulling crops from here? Medium distribution office. That's unloading to Titus silo 3. To be honest, if this fills up, then that's just gonna have to be the way it is. But I think over here, I mean, looks like we're actually going to be able to actually, harvest all the fields, because we're only on the 14th of October. Question's going to be is whether we can actually collect it or. I want to check the power supplies. Power supplies is good. I think what I am going to do is, where's that oil refinery? What are you waiting for? Gravel bulk supply. We're going to put New Hope bulk supply on here. The power station here has suddenly got itself a little bit of an urgency. Now I'm going to resist building all this oil infrastructure for the moment. That's going to be something for the future. I just want to keep going with what we've got. And what we got here, we got at 98 people. We are getting a few escapees. And I'm just wondering whether we are building this apartment block for some reason, which I can't remember why. Again, it's gravel. Is it down to the fact that I was wondering whether we can get another dumper on here. Have I got a dumper up here? Well, we've got this for then actually there's a notice there was a bit of a shortage for where's that office that I clicked on here? Where are you? Oh, you're over here. Okay. What I'm gonna do is gonna pick up. I'm gonna send you here. Not sure we're gonna need this second one here, but okay. Let me just see. Right, let's just get back over to here and just see what's going on. A little bit of steel being moved. Now these guys are all busy. What jobs have you got? You've got no jobs allocated. I think what we'll do is we'll allocate into there. And I know it's a long way out, but think it might help. We can get workers out here that might speed the overall process up. Yeah, this is part of the problem I've got at the moment, is that this little office here. In fact, actually, I just had a thought. If I add you and you, and there should be another one up here. So there's only two here, and you unload. What that might do is, if this, yeah, I mean, these guys are pretty empty, so these can use their limited resources to actually deliver to this area here. Actually, what we'll do is we'll allocate farm as a load point. I think that we can effectively pull the crops out of here. So what little we're getting from here, we're not wasting, is probably the polite way of saying it. I do need to catch up quite dramatically here. Tied to this road crew, I think we'll put excavators on you. Just to try and get some of these jobs finished. That releases the overall workload. And we've got this fire station here, which I would love to put some workers into, but I'm not sure that is actually going to work. Well, we've got loads of workers here. To do that, we're going to need a fire crew. Back to here then. What we got here? We got some oil wagons. Yeah, building the last one. We got some fire trucks in here. Oh, fire trucks. We'll build some fire trucks. Electronics. Oh, the electronics again. Keep that. Nice supply of steel running in. These guys are finished, and all we need to do is just pick up the crops. That's not bad, actually. I think we just need more vehicles bringing the crops in now, don't we? Because that is a little bit disappointing with respect to what's being delivered. I mean, let's just take a quick look at what the crop situation is. You've got 48 tons, you've got 50 tons, got 71 tons up here. You've got plenty. So we are pulling the crops in here. We've got 145 in there, 62 down here. We've got 5 tons in there, got 144 here, so they're coming in here. 148 here. We've got 32 tons in there, 1.9 of a ton there. Yeah, this is filling up quite nicely. These are obviously still growing, so kind of here. I think what I will do is, we have got a passenger truck up here. What I am going to do is, we're going to set a route up and like that, and just to get this running. It's a very long way to go, so I don't really want to risk putting out an expensive fire engine or anything like, or multiple trucks, because there's a possibility this could burn down. Also, it's got no power supply, which could be an issue as well. The question is, do I need to put a wind turbine up here just to get things started? Because eventually we're going to have a power station here, but we're going to have one that's going to be able to allow distribution. But could argue that putting a windmill out here to get going would be quite useful. So let me just do that. Power plant. Put this thing up. Wow, This has got footpaths on it. I think that's a little bit too big. Okay, let me just look at. It's a 15. 17. That's. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm okay with using the modern version, but I'd like to try and cover this area. So I think let's put a wind turbine in here, and we'll just allocate Titus, excavators, road crew, bulk supply for that. Just get that built. What we need to do now is, I think I've corrected. Actually, let's just set a proper lineup, I think, because we're going to be using this for a little while. We're going to go to there. This will be Titus oil to refinery. Whoops, that's spelled right. And we might need to put a gravel road through there, but what I'm going to do is set. Of course, these are going to have to. Of course, you can't assign directly from the. We'll have to send these guys up to here. Just do it this way, not thinking laterally. Send you to there. Okay, you're full. I'd like to pull this covered wagon out, but we'll send him to here. So we've got the beginnings. I actually like the idea of putting a mud road through there. Now, somebody actually did raise a comment about whether I'd actually put in all the pathways for all the various conveyors, and I haven't yet, because what I want to do is just make sure that we can put that one in. There's a, what's this here? This is built here, so we can queue straight through to there. Bring you down to there. You down to there. So that connects that up, that connects that up. Still building this up here, so we can't do anything about that just at the moment. Is there that's right, I need to put a road connection in here. That road connection's there. This is still being built. Can't remember what this is actually. There's an open store. I think I'd rather bring the open store down into here so that we've got the connection there. Finally got our let's just see Titus Oil Refinery. Come off that game. Pump jack, pick oil up, and then you're just going to unload oil to there. Just assign two of you to there. what that would do is start to bring a trickle of oil up to the oil refinery. In some ways that will allow us to produce some more bitumen. I'm kind of half wondering whether we can start to make the case for exporting some bitumen now as well. How are we doing here? How many fire engines do I need up over here? Oh, sorry about the snow. How many fire engines? We need 4. Okay. So we got 3. We need one more. Well, if I already sent one out, can't remember. I think we'll start with 3, and then what I'm going to do is go back to road cranes. I'll cancel that. I want to build some road cranes. And what we'll do is we'll pick up the. Then I want to send the oil wagon to here. I'm gonna send the fire brigade all the way out to here. Where are you? Sorry, getting lost on the map. Gonna send you out there. You out to there. At the very least, we'll get some fire coverage out here. Right, we're now on the 28th of November. This field has got some crops in it. Some of these didn't actually finish. That's probably down to the fact that we've only got the 3 tractors here, and we've only got 2 combines. So we're going to need to do something about that. I don't see much point in doing too much about that until we've got things sorted out. This is coming together quite quickly. Is that house being built? Yes, it has. Okay, we're going to bring in some over 21s. Oops. Good game. I would guess that we've got a few in there. So how many over 21s have we got? Got 48. So I think we're going to bring about kind of we'll bring about 20 or 30 over. So 10, 20 from there. How many left? Okay. Wow, you filled up. That means we should have plenty of workers in here to do this well. That is going a lot quicker. We may have to kind of redo the route when this is finished. Yeah, what I may have to do is kind of cross allocate some of these, what we call it, these oil trucks, because some ways the power station is more important. We can get this functioning even if it's a bit erratic to start with. So I'm kind of thinking, I know apologies I keep running backwards and forwards to over here. Things are getting a little bit away from me at the moment. What's up with this now? Source missing steel. We got fabric, we got electronics, we got plastics again. I'm really looking forward to the late 1920s, although truthfully we're probably producing plastics another way. I don't want to use the plastics and electronics from here as an export one. The one thing I might do with the electronics is to actually give to the local residents as a way of allowing them to get access to radios and things like that. I think we're going to cancel that, and we're going to go back to an oil tankers. Good. I'm gonna do the 1 because it's just going to keep doing it infinitely. Let's check here. What's the what we call it? Dry bulk and an open hole, and covered hole here. We got that done there. We've now got through December, and we effectively lost all these fields here. So all we got in was, we got nothing from here. We got 166 in there, 168 there. I'm not sure whether these fields went black because of course I wasn't really paying attention. We got 155 in there. So things might get a little bit dire, because I think we did get a poor harvest actually, if I'm completely honest. But hopefully we'll get this built eventually. Worried about, I think the problem is they're all wandering off to get, I'm just a bit worried about where they all are. Where are you? It says, oh, they're in here, I just can't see them. Let's see if the fire station is come alive. We've got fire trucks, we just got no workers. It says no power supply. Probably reduce this down, not that it doesn't make much difference with so we do need to get this built, so we got a power supply up here. Generally the buildings are coming together here. Right, we've now got a, again, what I'm going to do is we're going to set a proper route up from where's the pump jack? There it is. Put you there and there. Titus oil heating. And what we you there and there. Okay, you're going to pick up oil there and you're going to unload the oil there. I think line spacing is a little bit irrelevant with respect to when you're using wagons. What I would like to do now is we've got a tiny little bit of oil in here, but I think at the moment, no, I think we can keep it going like that. I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to build up the oil here before we actually turn on the workforce, because I think that will probably make a bit more sense, because at the moment we've got literally 6 tons of oil in here, which is going to produce, well, it's not even a day's work here, and I don't really want to destabilize the power supply. So what I'd like to do is get some fuel in here. Maybe we'll get some more oil trucks moving backwards and forwards here. Because of course winter is going to be quite a big factor. In fact, I'm kind of over here. Right. Send you up to, what we're going to do is get a bit of an oil truck conga line going. 4-strong crane. That'd be nice, but I don't think that this is still being built, so we're going to bring you up to here as well. What's up with you? Titus bulk supply, Titus road crew, Titus excavators. You can get on that. Because we got a whole pile of excavators kind of sat around here doing nothing at the moment. Let me see. I think what we will do, going to be a little bit risky, but I think I can't really spend a lot of time micromanaging this. We're going to pause. I'm going to put the auto search on, and we're going to make this into roads and footpaths and not buildings though. This thing is so quick. unfinished pipeline. We don't need that. Take off the small storage. Don't want the pipeline. Small oil storage. Aggregate store. Where is that? We don't need that. I'm not convinced I'm going to be building that. Certainly don't want the old gate block because we may have to knock some of these buildings down. Take 6-story apartment. We can keep all that, keep that, keep that. Yeah, I think that will work. And what that will mean is that the excavators will go out and do whatever's needed, and that should keep them busy. I think I'm going to get rid of this. This is kind of in a little bit of a kind of inconsistent place now, so we're just going to take that out so it's not a distraction. Right, let me just check over here. I'm not too worried about building that. This is beyond the base construction. What's this here? This is a frat house. We've got the food store here. We're going to need to think about getting food supplies out to here. This is, I think this is past the excavator stage, isn't it? I mean, Titus excavators are on that. Yeah, good. Let's make sure you've got bulk supply. I think what we can do now is start building. Actually, we can excavators. Get the excavators out to do these. Okay. Why are you not picking up the footpaths? Or is it a distance thing? Let's check this. Footpaths. I'm going to push that to 2,000 meters. Actually, let's go to the full 3,000 while I'm thinking about it. Okay. Get you there. Titus heating. Are you? Okay, you're up there. You're here somewhere. Where are you? We got another one of these trucks running there. Kind of starting to get a feeling that we've got a food store here, but we're going to have lots of trucks running up through here. Part of me says that we probably need another one of these probably here, because this is going to be a lot of shipment up here until we get these pipelines built. So I think what we will do is we're just going to put in here and put in a, where are you, gas station, feeding station, because we're going to be using these wagons for quite a long time here. It's actually inside the power supply as well, so we'll do that, and we'll put on Titus excavators, Titus bulk supply, New Hope bulk supply, and we'll get another one of these in here. These guys have got virtually nothing to do. Part of me says bring this online, but I think in some ways it's probably going to be a bit more important to get this built. You need concrete, so you need Titus concrete starting to there as well, and you probably need Titus workers as well. We have power. Okay, let's have a look. Houston, we have power supply. And that should make a massive difference to here. Yeah, we're completely green across the board now. Down here, we'll just take a quick look just to be on the safe side. So overall, we've got the power situation under control. Of course, eventually we're going to fill in these gaps here. And of course, we're going to need to bring power out here. Although that's showing power, no power generated, and it's not even built. Interesting. So our little oil refinery, our little oil-fired power station here is making a difference. And we just need to make sure we got plenty of oil trucks delivering the oil to there. The only real problem we got there, if you look at that, is the oil production is actually less on this than the oil consumption on the heating plant. That could be an issue. In fact, that could be quite a big issue. I think what we're going to need to do is get this second pump jack up and running. So we're going to need excavators, concrete, put New Hope bulk supply on this, because that's what we need for the first phase. And yeah, I think we'll just allocate this for the first phase, because the rest, the steel and mechanical components and that will be needed for the second phase. So we'll just allocate this for a first phase build, and hopefully we'll get a bit more production. I don't think I've got any more oil production in this area. Let me just see. No. So what we're going to have to do is do the best we can with respect to this oil supply here. We just have a quick look. Got a little bit more up here on the edge here. Let me just take a look at this. What happened there? So it says we got a little bit more oil in this area. We got 15%, 14%. So we got 30% there. And what we may have to do is bring on some oil supply here, just to try and speed this up a little bit. But then we'd have to ship the oil down through. Well, it's going to be quite a long way, but that may be something we will need to do as we build this up here. So I think at the moment what we're probably going to have to do is kind of ration the oil a little bit just to provide the heating, the power here. Although strictly speaking we don't need the power, but we need the power for that. This is going to be a bit of a swings and roundabouts type situation. I think what we will do now is we're just going to open up this a little bit. Say 15 workers, and hopefully what we might do is get a little bit of fuel or something going there. As usual, I'm getting a bit carried away and I'm running out of time on this video, so we'll just have a bit of a quick recap. We are slowly bringing this town to life. We've got a few over 21s and things. People are quite happy. This farm really needs to be sorted out. I really need to try and get this silo built here. So, and I think the other thing I also need to do now is start thinking about running some of these jobs down, simply because we are moving towards the Bolsheviks arriving, and of course we're going to need to build secret police headquarters and things like that, because the community update 36, I'm a little bit nervous about the changes to the new loyalty mechanic, because when I looked at it when the update first came out, things were okay. Since then, there's been a few changes, and I'm a little bit worried about what's actually going to happen. We got these guys sat around doing nothing, and part of me would like to push them into. I think what we can do is just to try and possibly give a little bit more of an edge. Is let's build this out here. These guys should pick that up. Yep. And we should get this done before the next growing season starts. Generally over here, most people are happy. We've got a nice supply. But oh, I was going to set up an export route for bitumen. No, I'm not going to set up an export route for bitumen. What I will do though is, while I'm looking at these, I'm going to send a couple more of. Oops. I'm going to do this before I finish. I'm going to send you up here. And then we're just going to cancel that. I'll think a little bit about, whoops, I'm going to think a little bit about what I need to build next. And well, actually, I think I can make a decision. I want to get a couple of road cranes, so we're going to kick that off. I'm going to send another oil wagon up to here so that we can kind of expand these oil export routes up here. And this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.